It's Saturday, which means it is time for episode 21 of the Stolen Cities. I am joined, as always, by Venolin. Or rather, Venolin's Pizza. Courtesy of Ray's famous world original. I guess it's from Subaru then. Ralakan. Yarel? Yarel?
We don't talk about that abomination here.
Talk about what Brian wanted. Cross. And as always, our friend, Jason. Ooh, boo. Rao's eyes just rolling up into his fucking skull. When we last left our adventurers, they just returned from a trip back down to the surface to investigate the intents of Alzin, who has been quite active. And they learned that he was headed to the last known place to have a teleporter that could reach the city, which is way out in a district the vampires call the Wall. It's very far from here. However, Vedran is significantly less occupied with that and more occupied with the impending fight that he is having with the Artemisians. Kieran, Farron, Keisha, and Patricia have arrived in New Manhattan to challenge Vedran in Times Square. And Kieran, going first, landed what appeared to be a grievous blow on the Vampire Sovereign before he was immediately launched into and then dropped from an insane height, from which there is now just a crater where he impacted. Vedran is looking upon the remaining three captains, seemingly in anticipation for whichever one of them is going to try and face him next. Farron is struggling under the grip of and blade of Venolin when Patricia begins to step forward. However, as she does so, the party can hear a shifting of rocks within the crater, as well as a series of loud, pained grunts, as Kieran appears to pull himself from the crater. Most of his armor has been just summarily destroyed, especially the back, which appears to have just come right apart with the impact. And with it, the rest of the armor is kind of falling apart as he pulls himself from the crater. However, doing so reveals that his entire skin seems to be bathed in this coarse, rough, stone-like aura that seems to have insulated him from the majority of the damage from the impact. He's still holding his javelin, but the rest of his weapons seem to have been buried in the rubble. And then kind of turns around nonchalantly. Oh. Wonderful, you're still alive. Venolin, Farron sees Kieran emerge from the rubble and immediately reverts back into his elven form. The transformation kind of gets you off of him, but he doesn't move away. He kind of just kneels, as though ready to take action at any moment, but not necessarily doing so now. He kind of gives you a little bit of a side eye as he does so as well. Cross, Venlin isn't far from the rest of the party, as the dragon form of Farron's trajectory brought her relatively close. Almost. Oh, don't care.
Oh, we solved the puzzle, Alex.
Okay. Oops.
I mean, where's the lie? I don't even play Legend of Zelda, and I know that that's the noise. Where's the lie?
Okay.
Continue.
Cross, you're the fast one. What are you thinking right now? And if there's any time that you're going to have some dialogue, it is during this intermission between the fight.
I honestly can't think of anything to say. I've had a whole week to think about, and I got nothing.
We just had an entire conversation.
I know we did, but just because I said that I have ideas doesn't mean I know what to say. I'm not a politician.
No, that's why I play all the politician characters.
Venlin, you kind of take a gander at the party, and it does not exactly take an insight check to see that Cross looks conflicted. He just watched someone who, now that he's recovered his memories, has been a mentor to him throughout his adolescent life prior to the events that led to you meeting him. And just watched him get his shit rocked by this guy whose orders you've basically been taking for the past few weeks.
Venelin will step back from the...
I like to think she's just like giving the "I got my eye on you" to Farron.
Yep, pretty much. That's pretty much what she's doing. And then, yeah, she's just going to move back over to her own party. You know, I'm not saying that we're the be-all, end-all when it comes to combat prowess. But they pretty much summarily wiped the floor with us. And now just got the floor wiped with them. Well, one of them. That doesn't seem right. Any thoughts?
Well, if you think about the back in station where we saw the what was it, a chamber of his like blood?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we saw Vedran's pulse, the chamber of blood. They did say that the reason why it was so big is that he is gathering a lot of, I guess you could say, energy from the rest of the people in this town. So there definitely is I could definitely understand why there would be a huge gap in power between, well, the Automesians and Vedran himself.
So this isn't even a fair fight to begin with.
No. No, it's not.
And
Her
I
rubs me
just
wrong.
stopped interference.
Vanillin, I'm not going to condone the Artemisians' viewpoints. In their defense, even part of their reasoning is justified as you saw the chaos down below. These few people up on this island are the exception.
I just find it hard to believe that we can condemn entire peoples to, well, death, I guess, just because of who they are. I mean, clearly you can have some control, and she kind of just gestures to Ralakan. Although I'm not sure how much of his control is because he is terrified of me or because he actually has control.
Actually,
Even in like a situation as serious as this, she's still trying to make a joke.
it's rather commendable that you've actually have stuck around with us, Ralakan. At any time, you could have walked away. Gone back to fishing.
I've got all the time in the world now to fish. Might as well throw my lot with you guys to see if y'all can fish with me. When all this blows over with all the hell in a handbasket that we've got going around.
Wonderful. You are a great asset to the team. And I, for one, do enjoy your company.
Well, someone has to.
Jason's looking for where you can buy a handbasket.
I can't really think of any way out of this situation that doesn't involve violence or bad things, and I can't even cope to comprehend what these strange mechanical machinations Vedran has at his disposal, that he has been siphoning the power of his own people for the sake of his own strength. Power always comes from somewhere.
I think given the fact that they were praying, I feel like this might be a little bit more on the spiritual side than any sort of physical manifestation. Prayer and belief are powerful, powerful tools. We could leave, and then we are no longer involved.
We could.
We don't particularly... I don't know what to do. This is... Being up here has thrown my entire perception for an entirely different look. It's on the ground. It is easier to know which is right and which is wrong. If you attack an innocent, you're wrong. And overall, for the most part, well, the night creatures have been wrong, attacking those that would mean them no harm, I guess. But here, where they live in what could almost be equated as harmony, it's more difficult to come to terms with, I guess. As selfish as it sounds, I almost wish that we were back on the main ground, literally just so that we didn't have to handle moral dilemmas like this. So the question is, do we step in or do we leave? And if we step in, whose side do we take? Because there is no way to do this without taking a side.
The people. If we do take a side, the people that matter.
Uh-huh. And who matters?
Those that have a say.
You're looking at the groups that have a say. They're fighting in the square, Ralakan.
No, I see two people that represent those that have a say. Not the people. The people walking down the streets looking for something to eat. The people down below who we knew struggled to find something to eat every day. And the people on the wall. They matter. Why are these people fighting for them? The Artemisians. Why are other people fighting for them? They got lips. They've got voices. And if they don't align with these guys, then something wrong. Right? Maybe?
Now who's the politician?
I want you to know that Venelin can't fault your logic, but also that's not how politics work.
I wish it was.
Like, she's just like, look, you're technically not wrong, but that's not how politics work, and it has never been how politics work.
Well, we're not politicians.
Unless we work together. Alexa, play the Soviet nationalists.
Shut! Shut!
That's why the concept of workers doesn't, or the concept of America doesn't work without workers.
Oh fuck! Is Das Kapital in the New York Public Library?
I'm weak.
Spaz, you're closest. You go check.
Bruh.
Take an exercise day.
Yeah, I got nothing because
Oh,
she
I was.
doesn't disagree with you, but also you are oversimplifying a very important problem
So let's
because you
take
say,
stock.
well, because you say that those who, who should have a voice are those that are walking on the streets. But how are the people down below going to get to speak for themselves? They need a representative. Hence why the whole thing is the representatives of the people who have the voice are fighting in the square.
And to the point of me oversimplifying things because we're not politicians. Yeah, we're not. We're supposed to be heroes, adventurers, trying to stop the whole situation from nuking, as it were. We don't need the perfect solution. We just need to stop the powder keg from exploding. Then we can find the perfect solution. Right now, the powder keg's about to go boom.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but our options are two powerful sources versus us, and we're not going to come out on top because we're only four.
So let's take stock of this whole quandary here.
Yes, let's do that.
You have Vedran, sovereign ruler of New Manhattan, and a font of dark magical energy generated from the collective prayers of his city full of people. He literally told you guys last night, I believe that my people have enough faith in me that I can win this. We have the Artemisians, strongest protectors of the Fey Court of Chaos, who have gone toe-to-toe with gods before. And who have every intention of, should they succeed in defeating Vedran, razing the city to the ground. And not really caring who they have to kill in the process. In the meantime, you guys not only have access to Grand Central Station, where his energy source is, you have a machine capable of interfacing with it. And you not only have access to the Fey Court of Intent, but also the person who has been supplying the Court of Chaos with their armor and weaponry. You guys have a multitude of ways in which you can stop this fight, even without directly intervening. It is very clear that Kieran's alive. Injured, but definitely alive.
And he's going to be keeping Vedran busy for quite a while.
And
Hopefully.
just so you know, there weren't really any set terms to this fight. They kind of just challenged him, and he said yes. There's not really a ref. There's not really a governing body here.
There ain't no cheating.
Like, Kieran went first because Kieran goes first.
This is a no disqualifications match.
Mins literally has a javelin that throws lightning bolts.
I have an idea.
Well, hit us with it, because at this point, I don't know that anybody else does.
Well, we go back to the Court of Intent and we speak with the blacksmith, the forge master. He might have an idea about how to counteract the magics that Vedran's been doing, and perhaps maybe even help us obtain some sort of replacement power source to prevent the city from falling.
Okay.
That sounds like a very logical and sound idea. I approve of
And
this.
I think we should be quick about it because there's one more thing then, Lynn, that I'm pretty sure you've noticed with Kiedrick at this point. He
Kieran.
doesn't... Kieran, sorry. He doesn't like to lose. And that determination, I have a very strong feeling that whether Vedran wants it or not, this battle's going to be taking us will probably take quite a while for him.
We still probably shouldn't dawdle.
Yeah. Not
Understood.
to mention that there might not be a city left to save if they keep going like this. Let's get going.
Indeed.
Jason bolts, but beforehand he's going to offer Corral a can if he wants to be carried. If his foot still hurts.
You guys have 4 options. I choose option 5, Alex. Improvise and hope something works.
I would just cut the wire.
We're not doing just eeny, meeny, miny, mo on the wires. No. I'm not doing another Majima shit. No.
Sure,
None of us
Alex
know
was actually
shit about-
making a movie reference, but
Or a Saints Row reference.
It was definitely a movie reference.
it was definitely a Marvel reference. But anyway,
Boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
well then we better get moving.
Bryant Park's a block away.
And then, when we get back, we can even the playing field. Alright, we are gonna head to Bryant Park.
Beautiful. So, are you guys meditating, or are you guys actually going to plane shift it? Cross, you're the one with the ability to shift it. So you can choose whether or not you guys want to project in or actually go.
What do you say, actually go?
I'll be honest, I might need to defer to your knowledge and expertise in this particular realm, Cross, because,
If we project in, we can't bring anything back with us.
then I guess we better go.
Don't believe I am able to meditate, so I will just go.
Double good point. Right. And away we go.
Yep. Because, I hate to ask the question, but what could possibly go wrong?
Well, we plane shift back in a completely different park on a completely different part of the world.
In a completely different timeline?
Me?
Right. That was actually a rhetorical question, and I didn't need an answer to it, and now I'm just concerned. Thanks for that.
I'm sorry, I'm just being funny.
I know. And it's hilarious. But also, Jesus Christ. I mean, gods. I don't know if New Manhattan has Jesus Christ. Was that man around? Did he exist?
New Manhattan does not have Jesus Christ. They have a not really god, but pseudo deity believed to have been the first vampire to ever exist, named Sangren.
Uh-huh.
So Vampire Jesus, got it.
Vampire Jesus.
Yeah, vampire Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go with the God's correction and not Jesus
Who
Christ.
was forever in conflict with his twin brother Sabara.
I don't know if I'd call Sabaro the devil. It's pretty bad. Ain't the devil.
I love the discourse about pizza.
Fam, you got 3 New Yorkers in this party. We're gonna have discourse about pizza.
I know what I said.
I just got boomed by my own accent.
You did. You did. Anyway, we're plane shifting into the
Beautiful.
uh,
Great.
Fey Court of Intent.
You guys get in the sewing circle. And the branches of the old oak tree in Bryant Park immediately sort of crawl over you and bring you down into the dirt. And when you emerge, you guys are outside the Fey Court of Intent. You guys head in, and the place is still in quite the state of disrepair. There are still tiles being repaired, chandeliers being rehoisted, and it doesn't look like your parents are in at the moment, Cross. However, the door to the blacksmith's seems to have been repaired. However, it is open.
God, wasn't his name Leon?
He told you to call him Levi.
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 Damn it.
Like
Oh.
the jeans.
Yes, I should have remembered that it was
S-
Genes and not Resident Evil. Well, I guess we're headed to the blacksmith's.
You guys kind of knock on the open door, and you can hear Levi clanging away at something. You don't think he can hear you at the moment, as the forge appears to be roaring with activity. However, given a small peek in, you can see scores of weapons lining pretty much every square inch of the place. It seems every table and every cooling plate has some weapon, some arrow, some bow, some piece of armor being prepared for battle.
Levi?
Ah! Oh. It's you.
Oh,
You haven't brought another god to my doorstep, have you?
No, not this time. Could you possibly take a break?
He turns to face you, immediately donning his cloak and allowing it to pass over himself. And you can see a series of bandages along his left arm before his cloak kind of passes over his chest. Yes. How can I help you?
We have encountered a bit of an issue. There is a city. It floats, however, is tied directly to the leader of said city, so getting rid of...
New Manhattan.
Yes, New Manhattan. Bedroom.
Kieran talked about it at length.
Yes.
He asked me to create for him a series of weapons that could kill vampires.
I'm pretty sure I know how to kill him, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be easy. And it's not going to be done by him. But anyway, that's not the point. We need a way to be able to maintain the lift of the city so that those that are on it and below it don't die if he dies. We were hoping you might have some more knowledge in the area, as it were. None of us are really of the tinkering kind, which honestly means that we're rather lucky that Jason hasn't wound up malfunctioning.
Well, that will prove quite a difficulty, given the origins of that sphere that he uses to power the city.
We never mentioned a sphere.
No, we did not.
Got some explaining to do.
This is not my first time hearing of New Manhattan, Renlin. It is also not the first time I have been asked to aid in its freedom from the Vampire Lord.
Let me guess, every other attempt has been thus far unsuccessful?
Many vampires who thought themselves the apex predator of their species have made their way to New Manhattan, many of whom even sought my help, myself included. There's a reason I rarely use this arm. He kind of raised his left arm for a moment.
Hmm.
However, its power source, while divesting it from the city would surely result in its destruction, divesting it from Vedran could be as simple as a ritual tag.
Ritual what now?
A ritual tag. They're usually meant to ward off spirits or control where magical energy flows.
Cross, with all due respect, Ralakan's a bit of the simpler type. You know how you can turn things into bombs?
Ah.
A ritual tag is a piece of paper that can turn that bomb back into a thing.
Oh.
Or rather, prevent you from doing the bomb thing.
Huh.
And if applied correctly, can sever somebody tied to a magical artifact from said magical artifact.
Sounds a lot like remove curse to me.
Like all magics, it depends on the strength of the curse we're trying to keep at bay. In the case of something like that, I doubt it would work for very long. However, it would give you a unique window of opportunity.
Right.
An opportunity to kill Vedran without destroying the heart.
Because the heart is what powers the city. Although, the other part of it is going to be a little bit more difficult, but I have some ideas. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to enact it just yet, but I have some ideas. Wouldn't be the first time I've discredited a lord of the land. Hopefully it'll be the last, but I highly doubt that. We need something to make sure that the city can stay afloat. There's no reason to punish those that are merely seeking peace and a place to live, above or below. because of the evil deeds of, or the misguided deeds of one person.
Well, Jason, if fully assembled, should have no problem interfacing with the control panel on the atrium.
Indeed. I also
There,
have this, and he raises the glove that the gauntlet that Cassidy had.
using his various subroutines, he could interface with the control panel and potentially move the city out of harm's way.
Or, then I guess the other thing that we'll need to do is find the rest of the models.
In such a case as this, if they're not fighting alongside Vedran, they're most likely protecting the station from any sort of attack on the heart.
Right. Well, that or
If they,
we need to finish
if they
finding
did-
his pieces, because he's not in
if they detect any interference with it, it's very likely they'll try to stop you.
Are they logical? The other versions.
6 is. He, much like, as you called him, Jason, is free-thinking, a product of a quite ingenious magical invention used to seal the contents of one's soul inside of an object. However, his prior iterations, fees 1 through 5, are most likely slave to Vedran's will, or at least to the control panel that is used to interface with them. While Jason could potentially interface with them, the rest of you could not, and were Jason indisposed, say, by being bound to the control panel at the time, you'd likely have to deal with them.
Could Jason perhaps override that control?
It's a good question for us.
Given that he has summary control over V5 at this moment, likely yes.
I wonder if we get V6 on our side, explain the logics behind what is occurring. Perhaps V6 would be able to assist us in controlling or overriding 1 through 4, since we already have 5.
The Vanguard's temperament is significantly less unhinged by insanity as Vedran's. He may be able to listen to reason.
I mean, none of this is strictly ideal, but I don't think anything that we've been doing thus far has been strictly ideal, so what's one more? Okay, well, we have a starting point. Again. Did any of the rest of you have questions?
Nope.
Were to override the control panel to control the flight of the city, where should I put it?
To avoid killing the most amount of people possible, likely above the water, rather than above Manhattan Island. Even the tidal wave created by such an impact would cause significantly less loss of life, decreasing the further out you go.
Let's do it.
And off we go.
Before we go, you've been making weapons for Kieran.
Kieran and his ilk, yes.
I take it that he was planning another attack then.
Given the various strongholds your exploits have revealed, I would not be surprised if he plans to take his fight back to the surface, especially given what he has seen there. An ice cream truck just whizzed by my house.
Ice cream.
I want to run. I will not run. I am a good boy.
Here we come back.
Oh, that's great. That is just fantastic.
The final temptation of confectionery treats.
Right?
I'd like to thank our sponsor.
Like, sometimes your man just needs to go get some ice cream.
You know how long it's been since I've fucking ice cream.
Soft serve specifically.
Okay. Anyhow, I see. Very well then. Since you do seem to know quite a bit about the history of New Manhattan and Vedran, can you tell us what Alzin is capable of? We understand that he's looking to destroy Vedran for his own means, but we've never really encountered him.
Alzin is another elder vampire that Vedran met on his journey shortly after turning. Despite being a newly formed vampire, his already significant prowess in fighting and magic made him quite the formidable opponent. However, it was his loss to Alzin and the mercy that Alzin showed him that led him to begin pursuing alternate forms of immortality. It was Alzin's plan to create New Manhattan. It was Alzin's plan to execute the siege of Manhattan Island in the first place. But Vedran's newfound power eventually led to him eclipsing Alzin. To such a point that when he deemed Alzin to be a threat to him, He exiled.
Hmm. Understood.
As someone who has challenged him and lost before, it is
Excuse you?
quite the ordeal. He literally just told you he'd done
He
it
did
before.
tell us that.
That's why his arm's all buggered up.
Yeah, he lost. That's what I didn't hear.
Yeah, no, that was literally the next bit. He's like, I challenged him, and that's why I can't use my left arm anymore.
Well, I thought it was one of those, yeah, but you should see the other guy situations. Not,
The other
yeah,
guy is a fucking vampire demigod.
And yet, you walked away. You're here. He didn't kill you.
Fortunately, I am similarly difficult to kill, Cross. And as you can see, I have not been idle. Like Vedran himself, I have machinations of my own. And he kind of waves out to his massive forge and his array of weapons aligned with silver. And seemingly, Venelin, you clock this right off the bat. Designed for bloodletting. Like, these are three-bladed arrows so the wounds don't seal properly. These are not knives and swords with created inlays designed to bleed the opponent. This shit's not just supposed to kill, this shit's supposed to hurt.
Yep. That's all very familiar. That's impressive. But also, I shouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
My presence is tolerated here because of my abilities and my willingness to arm their generals and their armies.
Of course.
Not necessarily welcomed, but at least it gives me someplace safe to hang my hat, as it were.
Your assistance is appreciated, Levi.
My assistance will continue until Veteran draws his last breath.
Okay, so we need a spell tag or ritual tag, one of those. We already have access to the chamber. And then we just need something really hard to hit Veteran with.
Well,
And if we do it while him and Kieran are fighting, That might solve itself out.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
But we have some. Okay,
We would have to act fast while we are doing all this, as I'd hate to see what would happen if after Kieran kills Vedran, what the Automatians would do to the rest of the city folk. They do seem pretty intent on wiping everybody out.
yes they do. Alright, we need to get the ritual tag. That's one of the more important things. I have... Ritual tag, and then... we need to find the other pieces of JSON.
Or reforge them.
Do we have the plans to be able to reforge them? And is that
No,
even
but
something that would be time conductive? Like,
V4 is capable of doing it.
we met V4. Didn't he give us V5 for JSON?
No, V6 gave you V5.
V6 gave us. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
V4 was designed as a resupply unit.
Right.
It was made to repair the other units in the V series should they become injured or inoperable. As such, it likely has a litany of spare parts that could be used to repair V8.
Right. Remind me, is JSON V8 or V7?
V8.
JSON's V8.
So there's something between
That's,
JSON and V6.
That's the vestige.
That's the vestige. That was
Okay.
the one that was at the top of the glass tower.
Right. Right, okay. Sorry, trying to remember all of these individual things and whether or not we met them or not.
It does not help that they're all also start with V.
Oh, God.
You're welcome.
Yep.
I did give you guys a handy chart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which got buried in memes.
Did we not pin it?
I didn't pin it? Fuck, I didn't pin it. Stand
There
by.
is no chart, there are only memes.
I got it. I'll just post it again.
That's how we'll stop Vedran, we'll use memes.
Okay. I feel like I'm that Nathan Fillion gif, where he's just, like, about to say something and then just kind of chooses not to.
Oh, because I'm not a mod, I can't pin things.
I can, just post it.
Okay. Well, so long as we're not hostile to the core, then the other V units should comply, and then Jason could probably request a resupply then.
Theoretically, yes. Theoretically. But unfortunately, theory is all we've got, so here we are.
And we still need the ritual tag.
We still need the ritual tag.
You wouldn't happen to have any lying around, would you, Levi?
And he kind of points nonchalantly at a book by the door.
You're going to have to use your words with me.
I got it.
The book by the door, one at the top of the pile. There is a pile of books on what looks like a nightstand next to the door.
Well,
And Ral, you flip through this thing. seeing what looked like some journal entries as well as a large number of names before finally coming to a set of ritual tags.
I want to say something, and I don't want to invoke that name.
No, we are not going back to the Court of Knowledge.
Thank God.
Nope. Nope. That man was angry with us when we last left. Not happening.
I was just wanted to know if this is this thing's book. You know, full of names. And whatnot. But I'm just gonna take the ritual tags and walk away slow. This isn't real.
Thank you for your assistance, Levi's.
Levi.
No, he said that on purpose.
I don't have liquor with me. I can't. It was a double pun! It was a double pun!
I had to do it at least once, I'm sorry.
Excuse you?
I'm never prepared for the sound pad on stream.
I don't know how. He uses it a lot.
I almost never use it on stream.
That's fair.
I if you're gonna use it on stream, please use non-copyrighted sounds.
Yes, please.
We're not trying to get a hit with the hammer.
Okay, then.
Burr, burr.
But,
Look at it.
yes, thank you for your assistance.
Thank you for your assistant, Levi's. There's another V-suit walking around that's just likes.
No!
It says Levi's. Little glasses.
We're an hour and 12 minutes. I will turn the stream off.
No.
I don't have enough liquor to continue with this. I'm halfway through my maker's bottle. I want to save that for a better day.
Wow. Good to know we're not worth it.
That's not what he said, and you know it. Anyway, so we've got our ritual tag.
We have ritual tag, and we have the semblance of a course of action, not necessarily a plan.
Well, it's better than nothing?
Indeed.
We have
I
a
guess.
direction.
Okay.
Once again, thank you for everything, Levi. Now we must be on our way. And Jason turns to Cross as not sure if Jason knows how to get out of here. Sure.
I can show us the way. I know the way.
Lead on.
Okay. So you guys head back outside, back to the oak tree, and plane shift your way back to New Manhattan. You guys are back at Bryant Park. The fight is raging, and given a multitude of voices, you're pretty sure the moment you left the Artemisians abandoned 1v1 and just went to town on them. You can hear the cries of what sounds like a large dragon, as well as 3 separate but very similar sounding roars that all sound like hellhounds.
Yeah, we should go.
Puppy dog. Okay.
Were we told at all where V4 is located?
Nope.
They should be guarding the place right now.
Yep.
Sure.
Right. Which direction is that?
From here, you guys know your way.
Okay, perfect. Then Venelin will take the lead.
You guys start making your way north. And as you pass through each intersection, you can see different parts of the fight playing out. Keisha seems to be riding Farron in his dragon form, just peppering Vedran with arrows from afar. While Patricia seems to have taken on the visage of that massive red hellhound that you saw from the aftermath of the fight with Nella here. Kieran, half armored but still more than alive, is just chucking lightning bolts at this man. Vedran himself is moving with an almost blinding speed, and in some cases, even dissolving himself into a swarm of bats to avoid their attacks before reforming quite quickly. However, they are definitely keeping him busy.
Well, that's
After a few minutes, you guys reach Grand Central Station, which is being guarded by not only the typical vampire guards, but also 2 hulking automatons. They dwarf Jason by about a foot, both of them. And while one of them is a bit slimmer, the other one is, to put it in Lucas's words, a chonky boy. He is very big and extremely muscular, and he just looks like one heaping pile of just wall, ready to run at you at a moment's notice. The one on the left looks significantly slimmer, though still definitely muscular, and appears to look as though he almost resembles the semi-skeletal form of V5 prior to unfurling. However, the mass of wires and cabling that run through him are very deftly contained within a skeleton, as opposed to V5, who just is the mess of wires and cabling.
I don't have enough arrows for this.
That's alright.
well. What's the plan?
was going to ask before we got there. During the interim, which Vedran so happens to be, if Vedran so happens to be defeated by the Automatians, what do we do about the Automatians?
Well, if it is to be believed that their victory over Vedran and the city crashes into the water, they could see it as their victory and then take their fight to the surface. They would have to go and regroup, of course, after their fight with Vedran regardless.
It was my understanding that their fight was with Vedran and not necessarily with the other vampires.
Yes. They are aware of the problem of the night creatures down below on the surface, though. And through countless meetings and different court hearings, when we gather to discuss things I've overheard with my father and the other courts, the Automatians have been rather vocal that they wish to return to the material plane to finish what they had started. That being said, upon defeating Vedran, it might be enough to convince them to back off from the city itself.
I certainly hope that is.
Because if the city starts moving and starts descending, they will probably assume the worst and retreat. That's where Jason comes in when Vedran is disconnected. He moves the city. Worst case scenario, they don't. And I get to punch Kieran in the face again.
Wonderful.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
You know, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I might actually want to side with the Court of Chaos.
You know they'll kill me, right?
I'm aware. We'll just make sure that you're one of the last. The last, if we can manage it.
Oh, I know.
Nah.
Is there like a pet shop along the way? Maybe we can get like a collar and we can just say that you're my pet. Killing you would be a very disservice against my family at that point.
I'm not gonna lie, Cross, that sounds tantamount to slavery. But if it would protect Relican...
I have many things in this world. Fish, my last jar of breeding pool juice,
Which you don't
and my
need anymore.
never-ending hatred for birds. I don't want to lose. No.
Well, you wouldn't technically be losing it. It would be a ruse, a lie.
You'd be much easier to take care of than the other goldfish that I had.
Mostly because he wouldn't have to take care of you. Because you're self-sufficient. I can't even go along with this course of conversation. Straight face.
There is no language in the Artemisian alphabet that spells out the words consent form.
So here we are, Party B of walking down the street while a fight that rivals that of the final battle of the first Avengers film is happening 2 blocks over in Manhattan.
Are we in Endgame or we're time traveling now? Are we the time traveling party and you guys are trying to put a collar on me like I'm some kind of vampire gimp? No, we're not doing this.
Are you telling me you haven't been a vampire gimp this entire time? Talking about my heart belongs to Venolin, it is hers to take.
Actually, that would protect you because the pact, you know, if I choose not to kill you, then you're not on the radar. But also,
Kieran would honor that.
yep. But also, protection of a royal family is usually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
The
God.
moms warned me about keeping pets, though.
Like it's well, I mean, alternatively,
My goldfish
Could-
ran away.
I'm sorry, your goldfish did what?
They ran away.
Cross definitely did not use Druidcraft to give a fish legs.
Your goldfish ran away.
No, that's what they told me.
Oh,
It
okay.
happened when I recognized that one of the court druids was pretending to be my goldfish for a while.
Ah! That suddenly makes so much more sense.
You kind of come to expect it when you live around the Feywilds. Pranks and other unusual things.
Pranks, antics, frantics, if you will.
Antics. Right, so I guess
Hold on.
Jason could just approach V4 and request a resupply and a repair,
That will be done.
and maybe we just say that Veteran sent us to make sure that the core was protected.
Not a bad idea. Do we not need this ritual tag on Vedran, though?
He did specifically say you needed to get it onto Vedran. It needs to be attached to the recipient of the magical energy, not the thing supplying it.
Well, I have an idea for that, but it's going to be dangerous.
I'm in.
Okay, I didn't even say what the
have an
idea
even-
was.
I also have a stupid idea.
I would love to hear Ralakan's stupid idea before I suggest my idea and hope that his is better than mine.
It's not.
That's
I
not
do
what I
have
said.
an idea.
I tie the ritual tag to an arrow and I shoot the arrow at Vedran.
That's not a stupid idea at all.
We're talking about me here.
But it's not a stupid idea. I'm just getting I'm getting Loki and Hawkeye vibes during the Avengers, where he's just gonna catch it instead and then look at you really
it doesn't
unimpressed.
help that we're in Manhattan.
Like we are literally just
We're
a
in
weird
Manhattan.
amalgamation of Endgame and the Avengers, and I hate it. Because the difference here is that we didn't time travel to the past.
Yet.
Shut up. I don't want yet, okay? The last time I did any sort of time traveling, I fucked the timeline. Literally.
Good times.
Was it good for you?
It was. It was. It was great for me. I walked out of it with a husband, so, you know.
You married the
I did, because the timeline's name was Raven. Also, not this campaign and not important. If you want to hear more about that story, you should join us on Discord. I would be more than happy to share it on Discord. You can find the link to our Discord below. Anyway.
Okay. So you're suggesting that we use a arrow to just get the spell tag onto him? That's actually a pretty good idea.
It's certainly
Consider-
safer than mine.
What was your plan, Venelin?
Well, I was going to sneak up and just, in an attempt to make it look like I am checking him over for injuries, kind of just slap this ritual tag onto his back. Relic Hands is significantly safer.
Jason, what was your plan?
Would you be able to do that through his shadow?
I would if we hadn't, if I hadn't used it to stop. Oh god. Who was the dragon?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Sorry, Alex, what was his name?
Farron.
If I hadn't used my ability to jump my shadow on Farron to, stop him from interfering. Because that was definitely a thing I did.
Rotten. I guess we will have to deal with the greatest fisherman of all time then. Ralakan, your time has come. Go and get the biggest fish out there.
You know what? He's been turning himself into bats. Bats are birds.
No, they're not.
They're mammals.
They are.
I know they're
Pretending to be birds.
Relican's stupid!
Excuse you, I have an 11 intelligence.
Yes, dear, but
And-
you're the one who keeps playing Ralakan as stupid.
See, there's a wonderful thing. There's a fine line between genius and idiocracy. And I walk that every day.
What's your
Yes,
wisdom
I know.
score?
Excuse me?
Yes, I know you do. We're talking about Ralakan.
My
What
wisdom
is-
score is 15.
Alright, fair
I get
enough.
+2.
Fair enough.
No, actually, every single part of Ralakan's mindset now completely makes sense. He is wise beyond his years and has above average intelligence.
Yep.
I would say it's more that he knows bats aren't birds because he has an ornithology book, courtesy of Nella here.
Well, that too.
That too.
No, I got that from the library, didn't I?
I do think you actually got it from the library in New Manhattan.
Ah, yes, wonderful. He keeps it around when he needs something to be angry at.
I didn't know you had a library card.
It was free. I couldn't eat it. That was very much a joke.
I mean, you could eat a book, but I don't know if you could do it in one sitting.
Kristen Medina has eaten his library card.
I haven't eaten a book yet. I might one day. I've burned a book before. That was my math textbook.
I have also burned high school textbooks that I was allowed to keep, so...
This was college.
Ooh, I've done that one too.
Ugh.
For the record, we at Dire Bear do not condone book burning.
Somewhere Kyle is laughing maniacally.
His inner
It's just-
Zalam is tingling.
It's cathartic to burn something that has tortured you for years. Because I failed college math 5 times? So, to be rid of that was wonderful. Anywho,
Well, I mean, I did one time burn a Spice Girls CD, but that's beside the point.
okay. So, am I gonna start taking the pot shot at,
Well, hang on. We gotta deal with V4 first. Get JSON restocked and repaired.
And then, in the midst of the chaos, Ralakan, you're going to have to try and nail him.
I
I
think
have a
Well-
better idea.
better than the one that you already had.
Yep.
I find that hard to believe, but hit us anyway.
Can you steal one of the I forget her name. The one that shapeshifted into a hellhound. What was her name?
Patricia,
Could you steal some of Patricia's arrows? And I could use that arrow to use to cover for the ritual tag instead of one of mine.
Well, I guess that really depends on whether or not she is the kind of shapeshifter that shifts with all of her shit, or if she's the kind of shapeshifter that needs to get naked before she shapeshifts.
I will let you know that she has a hellhound cloak, which just transforms her completely upon use,
So
which
she
includes
has
all her shit.
Yeah, we don't have access to her arrows.
However, you do have Tisha there, the archer.
Who's on the back of Farron,
Who's in the
who is
sky?
currently a giant dragon in the sky.
Well, we can't.
We yeet Ralakan into the air.
No. At this point in the battle, there's going to be arrows littered across the battlefield. We could
Yes.
stealth, snack, pull some up off the ground.
You are not Snick, you are fish.
Yes, snack, SNEK, to move quietly in a meme-like fashion.
Yeah, but okay, I could probably do it. I mean, within the chaos, it shouldn't be that difficult, and if there's some shadows, it'll be even easier.
8 damage. I need somebody watching to just compile a full list of all the psychic damage that this party has dealt me over the course of this campaign.
Dealt you? And why is it
I'll-
a party? No. It's Spaz to the party.
You know what? I will gift a sub to whoever can calculate for me just how much psychic damage the party as a whole, but mostly me, has been dealt by tangy, warm Medina over here.
Okay, we're gonna count Slimy because it's morning as a full 16.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
The first use of the word breeding pool is also a full 16.
Well, we're
Because-
already at 32.
So, just because of just like the absolute face on Maddie when she heard that. Could have had a V8 is also a full 16.
No, I feel like that one was actually clever.
Yeah.
Maybe an 8.
Okay, but in any case, plan?
Okay. So, what we're dealing with here, okay, is that... Why do you want to use our arrows again?
So it doesn't. So if it's weird if my arrows show up while I'm hitting him with the ritual tag. The fletching is different and everything.
Where if we use the Artemisians' arrows, then
It looks like the Artemisians have always had this upper hand, and they just
Exactly.
didn't want to use it.
It's a little bit of subterfuge, but it's effective.
Fair enough. Okay. So, Venelin, you, I guess, would have to sneak around and try and find some spare arrows. Which, given how Veteran's dodging, that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah, as long as I don't take one myself as they're falling from the sky.
Ralakan, you'll be on standby in a position I would assume that would give you a proper vantage point. I
Yep.
think there was that large tower toward the middle of the square there, on that one end. Or something,
It's Times Square. You've been there before.
Cross is trying to remember how it was described to him, and he just remembers being told lots of lights and a lot of noise. And while you guys are doing that, Jason, I guess, will get himself prepared.
Indeed, I will.
And I will...
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Do you think I should be able to go and talk to V6?
I think you talking to V6 is probably going to be our best bet. You're logical, you understand the implications of what is going to happen, and we need him swayed to our side. And I think you are probably the best suited for that.
If anything, you can wait until after I am fully suited, and I can accompany you.
Oh, rotten.
Party's planned.
There's only 4 of us! There's...
Party's planned! Okay. So, Ven and Ral are headed to the fight.
Yep.
They cross over here. I'm going to be headed into Grand Central. The two V's immediately sort of like cross arms in front of the entrance, asking you to state your business.
V8 here. I do have to meet up with V6 Vanguard and sorry.
4.
Yes. I do have plans to meet up with V6 as well as repair me. With
The moment you utter the word repair, a visor on the kind of like more hulking model kind of flips open to reveal a pair of bright green eyes that begin to scan over you immediately. Multiple augmentations and power discrepancies detected. However, designation V8 is not on my list of authorized repair models at this time.
Oh no.
List of authorized repair models can be accessed from the control panel.
That is upsetting, yet understood. May I go to the control panel to take a look at said list?
You will require permission from Administrator V6. He is in the atrium. And the two V's immediately uncross arms, allowing you to step through.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And Jason will walk down into the atrium.
I'll follow.
You guys head down, and V6 seems to just be sitting in one of Veteran's chairs, watching the massive orb of blood within its containment cylinder. It seems to have shrunken very slightly, but is still significantly engorged as opposed to its prior, quite diminutive state. What can I help you with, gentlemen?
I am in need of repairs from the 1v4. Unfortunately, it seems that that my model is not authorized for repairs. So I
Quite
was
an
told.
auspicious day to suddenly ask for an upgrade.
Understandable. Though I did recently just find out where V4 is, and in any case, I am just looking for permissions.
I can grab them to you. One moment. And he kind of gets up, a sort of sullen look on his face, and heads to the control panel. And you see him push God knows how many buttons before you see your name added to a list alongside the rest of the V models.
Okay, so I'll try to keep count of all the buttons you pressed.
V4 should be down here momentarily.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Is there anything else you need while I'm here?
Yeah. Yes, actually, we do have some things that we need to inquire. And hold on, I gotta try and figure something out to say.
If I can properly ask you, what is the purpose of the V series, sir?
The V series were originally made by Veltrin as sort of scouting and assistance units throughout his travels. However, once he became aware of his runaway brother's true intentions, the subsequent models were made with the express intent of exacting violence, more specifically upon vampires and other creatures of the night whose methods for being able to be killed are quite more difficult than your average human or elf. As you can see, even the most advanced in combat operations seem to have proven rather useless before him. Even Veltrin seemed to have met his end before building you, I suppose.
Mm. I take
So,
it.
oh, go ahead.
You go ahead. I already asked my question. You go ahead.
This is just more out of character, so I know exactly what our plan is. Because Jason can essentially override 1 through 5, but he essentially just needs 6 on board with accessing the terminal and just being okay with us putting the whole controlling the core and all that.
He does not know what you guys plan to do here.
That effectively, we have to convince him of what we're doing. The reason why I asked him what their function was to maybe try and fish out information and possibly use their function as an excuse.
Sorry, what's function exactly?
When I was asking about their function and their purpose was effectively to figure out what they were doing and then use that to counteract whatever Vedran seems to have done to them, since they seem to be working for Vedran instead of against him. I'm doing the logic play. Tell me, did if you had a choice between one life and the life of everyone in the city, what would your choice be? I understand that you have come far from your original purpose.
Not
Things
just
change.
that. I don't know what data you have on me from the Biltons, but my creation was Veltrin's first attempt at fragmenting his own soul, sealing a part of it in something else.
Why does this sound familiar?
And he kind of like slips his fingers in between his chest plates and opens them up to reveal this swirling orange sphere inside. A similar red sphere is somewhere inside of Jason's chassis, I presume. Most likely somewhere by the head, given the eyes.
That is correct. So am I to assume that there is a fragment of Veltrin inside my core?
Less a fragment of him, in that it is his power that gives you your consciousness in the first place. It is what makes us autonomous. And as such, I, while having his prior experiences, his memories, do not share his emotions. Veltrin, I believe, would have gone to any means necessary to kill Vedran. In my opinion, he proved that by being willing to fracture his own soul, by willing to create countless weapons of war with the express intent of murdering him. But if there were a way to stop him while protecting the people who came here for the promise of utopia, not for a war, not for a king, not for a god, I would take any steps necessary to do so.
Then we are going to require your assistance, sir.
What would you ask of me?
Once V4 has repaired V8, V8 will have to take control of the city and move it to somewhere just in case kind of situation.
Seeing as how the Artemisians are planning to run this land into the ground, and I want to ensure that that does not happen, and I protect as many people as I quite possibly could.
There's currently a plan in motion in the current combat that will render Veteran incapable of connecting with the core.
You know that core is a fragment of him, correct?
I know.
A fragment of him imbued with a dark power that stretches back millennia. Before the uprising, before anything. It will not react well to not being with a host. It will start to search for one.
That's why I plan on trying to fight it on the astral terms. I'm sure you've already noticed what I am capable of. And I know that I might not be truly strong enough to hold it back, but if I could keep it at bay just enough, there's a chance that...
You could hold it off long enough to get the city out of harm's way.
Yes. Either that or it destroys me and it was all for naught and everyone dies.
Less likely it destroys you, and more likely it attempts to take you as its host. I will trust you.
Good. I appreciate that.
Be careful.
And Cross will take a moment and turn and give Jason a hug.
Jason will take a moment, and after about 2 or so seconds, will understand and reciprocate with a hug.
If something goes wrong, Jason, I expect you to take care of Vanillin, okay?
Absolutely. That is my function. At least one of them.
Let's hope Ralakan can hit his mark.
Nani?
Here's fucking hoping.
Look, man, it's really rare that you miss your shots.
I have a curse.
Yeah, just imagine it's a bird.
That thing's gonna die.
That's what I said.
Take it down, baby.
I've just been idly rolling a d20.
Trying to purge your bad rolls.
Yes.
Okay. Venolin and Ral, you guys reach the battlefield. And as such, it is quite littered with arrows and everything else. There are char marks from fire breath. There are corrosion marks from acid rain. There are impact craters from lightning bolts and rolling thunder. There are cracks throughout all of the surrounding buildings, and it seems like most of the audience that had gathered to watch has fled at this point. There are several spikes that seem to be made out of pure crystallized blood sticking out of Patricia's hellhound form. And several more in needle-like protrusions all up and down the spine of Farron. As Keisha seems to have taken to the various posts and towers along the way for vantage.
Alright, well, I guess I'm up first. Gotta get you an arrow.
Stealth time!
Stealth time. Man. Also, did we forget that I was the rogue who didn't take stealth?
Delta.
Welcome back to bad ideas.
Alex,
Fully commit.
At
Alex.
the right side, I don't think anyone's going to be paying attention to you right now.
I hope not. Is there, like, enough dim light that I could disappear into it as per being a shadow rogue?
It is high noon.
Sure, but they're also fighting in the park.
It's,
Wait, no, you said they were fighting in Times Square?
Times Square.
I have never been to Times Square, so okay, just, is
The
Times
buildings
Square
do cast
where...
the buildings do cast shadows. Times Square is where Steve runs into at the
Okay.
end of first minute.
yeah.
Okay,
I know what you were gonna ask,
Yes.
and I am slightly judging you for that being your association that you draw from it. Because every movie involving New York has had Times Square in it. But that's the one you go with.
I'm not even going to apologize for it because you weren't surprised. However, do
even
the
a little.
buildings cast enough that I have dim light enough to get advantage?
Not at this time of day.
Fuck. Well, that's a 10 total.
Stealth time.
Fortunately, the Artemisians are fighting a blood demigod. However, as you make your way across to grab two arrows that seem to be stuck in one of the stones, you immediately notice that your presence has not escaped the eye of Keisha Fellman. who seems to have been perched atop one of the signposts. She gives you a look, and you notice that her bow is not pointed at you, but rather at Vedran.
Sure. Does she seem particularly rogue-like? Or does she seem more like a ranger, like Ralakan is?
Insight me.
Fuck. Given the fact that this bitch shot me before.
You get a sense of both.
Okay. Alright, insight. Alright, I got a +1 on that. I rolled a 1. For a grand total of 2.
That's a barbarian right there.
No, that is a rogue who didn't spec at all into intelligence, despite the fact that your other saving throw as a rogue is intelligence. I spec'd Dex and Constitution, and that was it because I rolled like garbage.
Con on a rogue?
The con on the rogue has been what has kept me alive thus far. So
Constitution is not a jump stat.
I need you to
Imagine being
understand.
alive in a world full of vampires, forehead.
I need you to understand. Everybody in this party has 90 HP plus, except for Venelin, who is sitting at 75. That con stat has saved my life more times than I can count. So, I'm not complaining about con. However, I got 2 on insight, but you said I figure out, she's a mix of both.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Venelin is going to quickly sign at her in Thieves' Cant. Asking for a distraction. A bigger one than just the fight. Before you quote fucking Age of Ultron at me, because I'm watching you and I can see you about to do that.
Excuse you. We need a distraction. Something big. I got something big, but I can't do it for long.
Okay, that's Civil War.
Yeah, fuck you too, Manny.
I'm bringing the party to you.
Okay, we're back to the Avengers. That's not a party.
I don't understand how that's a party.
No, see, I was more referring to the I need you to keep him angry, to which Steve's reply was, "What do you think I've been doing?"
Okay. Keisha nods with a small smirk before pulling out what looks like a special arrow. You can see something tied to the end of it. And she shoots it up into the air at enough of a trajectory that it's going to fall into the battlefield, but it's definitely not meant to hit Vedran. And at the apex of its flight, you can see it transform into a hail of arrows.
Okay. Yeah, Venelin is gonna quickly scamper back to Ralakan, hand him the arrows, and just go, fast. You need to shoot fast. That should provide you enough of a distraction to be able to take proper aim, but shoot fast.
Very quickly, I'm going to go into the shadows because it is high noon and I am a vampire.
And unlike the rest of the vampires here, you have not evolved photosensitivity immunity yet.
Photosynthesis.
I am not a daywalker yet.
Yet being our key operative word here.
So yes, you hop into the shadows.
How many ritual tags do I have?
There are 4 in the book.
Alright.
Cool. I only
You
grabbed
have-
you 2 arrows.
2 shots.
But hopefully that distraction would be enough to give him advantage. Kinda why I did it.
Given just the sheer volume of arrows, it doesn't look like Vedran is able to turn into a cluster of bats without risking all of the bats getting skewered. So he's forced to form himself a blood shield, kind of like above him, to keep himself shielded from the hail.
Okay.
This will have advantage.
Alright. So I wrap one of the arrows in the ritual tag. Here goes the first shot. $27 to hit.
Yeah.
It hits. Your arrow lodges very cleanly in Vedran's shoulder. I need a stealth check, Ralph.
Okay, I am not in 16 stealth check. I'm glad I decided to be in the shade. Woof. Hold on. Is there anything else that I could do?
Do you
Yes.
have access to a ranger spell list?
I do. I only have so many spells, though.
Do you?
Trace?
Yeah, do you have Without Trace?
No, I don't.
Hmm. Fair enough.
I was thinking. Hold on.
I mean, we could just wait and hear what Alex's result on his perception check to find you was. Because the 16 could be enough.
Ral, you dive behind a newspaper stand to avoid his gaze. However, the direction from which the arrow flew was very clearly not the direction of the hail of arrows. And while he did not see you, he definitely saw the direction from which the arrow came.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit!
You're using a longbow, Spaz?
Yes, the vicious longbow.
Okay, yeah, no, never mind.
150 feet. You can see from 150 feet minimum.
Look, when it comes down to investigate, just start pelting him with Victoria's Secret catalogs from the newsstand.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hide under the Sports Illustrated and then just have the Victoria's Secret right above it.
That's guaranteed to distract any vampire, right? But the arrow with the ritual tag is now on him. We did the thing.
Mm-hmm. You guys suddenly can hear a rapid thrumming through the street. As it goes, dum 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 dum.
I don't have to tell you that that's not good, right?
Cross and Jason. The orb suddenly and very abruptly begins to shrink as power begins to issue forth from it in great quantity.
Think whatever.
And you
What?
likewise hear the
I think whatever Venolin and Ralakan were planning to do sounds like they're doing it. We should act fast. Has V4 showed up yet?
Mm-hmm.
Hold about.
V4 arrives, scans you once again, and almost immediately you see him kind of outstretch his arms and legs before they open up, revealing themselves to have a cavity that you seem to be able to enter.
Oh. Mind if I do? You will enter the cavity.
And Jason, you can feel screws turning, drills boring, and gears turning within your chassis as various pieces are all attached kind of all at the same time. And after about a minute or so, V4 removes himself from your person, and you find yourself fully armored. That taller form that you were in when you raged, that seems to be your default height now. And you are clad in, quite similar to V6's, a beautiful set of lustrous armor that seems to have utilized some of that silver in your chassis in its plating.
This sounds like I'm going to have to create a new character book. Wonderful. It's very cool.
I will need you to increase your dex, con, and intelligence by 2.
Ooh! Ooh!
And I will need you to roll me 2 hit dice.
Oh! Okay! Dex, con, and intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
Not the greatest hit dice, but I digress.
What'd you roll in total on the hit dice?
5.
You rolled a 3 and a 2.
1 and a 4. I'm all updated.
Please re-roll the 1.
Ooh. Okay, then an 8 in total.
8 total?
Yep.
Wonderful. You gain 8 hit points.
Awesome. Right. Got a character with triple-digit hit points.
That one with her 75.
Not used to this when I mostly play casters.
It's a nice feeling playing a frontliner for once, isn't it?
Oh
Being
yeah,
able to
absolutely.
take hits without, worrying if it's going to be your last.
Indeed.
Shut up, Dogar.
Rude.
Well, Jason will step out in his shiny new chassis and will give a deep bow to V4. Thank you very much. It is much obliged. You did phenomenal work. This is how I truly am meant to look. Wonderful. Well, enough dawdling. Ross, we have some work to do. And Jason is going to hurry on over to the control panel.
Mm-hmm. You head in and begin to interface with it, and the moment you do, that orb starts to move. It starts shifting violently, banging against the walls of its containment unit.
Okay.
Its walls are made of very thick glass, but you've got no idea what powers that thing, but apparently it's been around for millennia.
Don't you hate it when you have a good idea, and then you have a bad idea, and then when you realize that you have a bad idea, but you don't know how to execute the bad idea? I'm joking.
Just as planned.
Technically, it's all going according to plan.
Yes.
Which is probably what's freaking them out the most, because none of our plans actually go according to plan.
Oh no. There was that one time where we were being chased by dark creatures in the valley, and then they got spooked because of lightning. That was according to plan.
Was it?
Yeah. They stopped chasing us.
Was it our lightning, though?
Yeah. Remember, I made a bomb. It was lightning damage.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And technically, the shit that went down with Nelly here went according to plan.
Mostly.
Technically.
Minus the whole
Minus the part where he gave
having
chase.
his.
I don't
Yeah.
think luring him back to the court of intent was according to plan.
Yeah, no.
No, that definitely wasn't according to plan. But the rest of it was. With the explosions and setting the library on fire and getting out with Cross's book.
Well, I, as a player, have no idea how to interact with this terminal. I, as a JSON, might. And you, as a V6, and all the other Vs, most definitely.
You as a JSON definitely know how to interface with this terminal. And you almost immediately find the directory for controlling the various turbines that vent power from the core.
Wonderful.
You can also cross-reference this with a map of the city.
Wonderful. their fault. So yeah, Jason's plan is to take it out to water, preferably not too close to land, as to avoid tidal waves and the like. Probably put it where, well, maybe a little bit farther than where Manhattan Island normally is.
Well, if all else fails, we can just park it right on top of Jersey.
You know what? If we drop Manhattan on top of New Jersey, at least people will want to go to New Jersey.
I mean, they had to put the Giants in the Jets Stadium in New Jersey to get people to go to New Jersey already. My
Fuck,
apologies
you're right.
to anyone out there who are actually from New Jersey.
But they're New Yorkers, so it should not surprise you.
At least it's not Detroit. I'm gonna let it go now.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. Moving Manhattan.
Okay.
I don't know why I was just pointing to my blinds when I did that.
Carlos,
Jason is trying to find the safest possible distance to land the island. And sorry, go ahead.
mhm. Carlos, you do not have to enter the containment field in order to meditate and come into psychic contact with the heart.
Very well. Cross will find a comfortable spot on the floor and proceed to do that.
You just kind of take one of the couch cushions and sit it on the floor so you can meditate on it.
Yeah.
You sit down to meditate with this thing, and almost immediately you can see the orb gravitate towards the wall of the containment unit in front of which you are meditating.
Hmm.
Cross. You find yourselves in a tandem brain space. The room you are in strongly resembles the main antechamber of the Court of Intent in its normally pristine state. However, blood drips from every window and out of every door, forming a puddle just deep enough to submerge your feet beneath you. And standing before the throne seems to be a man. He, like everything else, is also draped almost entirely in blood red. And in the dimness of this space, only the bright glistening of his fanged teeth are visible to you. Not many forge a psychic link with this domain. I commend you.
I appreciate the compliment.
You know who I am, I take it.
I've heard you've been called many names, but to me none of them matter. They're rather a piece of history that should just be forgotten.
Tell that to them. And he points down at the puddle of blood, and in its reflection, you start to see the visages of several vampires whom you've encountered. First Cassidy, then Alzin, then Crowley, then Vedran, then one you don't seem to recognize. The blood of all vampires lives in me, and likewise my blood is in them. It is through me that they can reach their highest and greatest form of true, unending life.
And it's theirs the greatest pity. Each one of these people had some sort of vision, a dream of another tomorrow. And they wanted to see that tomorrow. And live it. The problem with living forever, though, is that you have nothing to leave behind. There's no learning. Everything eventually comes to an end. Nothing can ever truly last forever.
Is that what you have come here to do, Conan? End me.
Yes. And if I fail, so what? There will be others. But eventually it will become too much for you. You may think you're some sort of invincible god, but all I see is just a coward that's afraid of the inevitable. I'm not afraid of you. But you have made your choice, and you will now face the consequences.
You know I know why you are really here. Even now my power drains from this place. No doubt in your friend's foolish attempt to protect the people below from what will come for them. From who will come for them.
Are we going to fight, or are you going to talk me to death?
Oh, wonderful. This is going to be great. I think this fight on three fronts is where we should probably call it for tonight.
Yeah.
Yike.
Uh-oh.
Holy moly.
Uh-oh. Oh
Uh-oh.
no. Oh no.
Oh,
Ramakan and Venelin are alone fighting Vendrin with the Artemisian.
Oh no!
Cross needs to hold off the blood god long enough for Jason to get the city to safety.
Oh boy. This is gonna be intense next week.
As always, now we really have to thank our sponsors. Well, our sponsor. Our one sponsor. Dare to Beyond! The letter N, Beyond.com, a massive repository for all things 5th edition, with a sprawling homebrew compendium to draw from or add to for a small subscription fee. They also have a Twitch overlay that we use prior to slobs, and it is very, very good. Next session's Monday, right, with Troubleshooters?
Yes.
Awesome. Tuesday, we have World at War. Wednesday, we got anything Wednesday?
Not yet. We got JT still working on his homebrew, but homebrews are not something that are just, you you just come up with
Home-
on the spot. They are a lot of work, so.
To borrow a phrase from my favorite high fantasy film, The One does not simply walk into Hogwarts. What? Kirk said that.
Stop. You want to talk about Spaz giving you psychic damage? Stop.
Hey, Spaz, you want to roll a second? I get a little bit of payback.
But
I don't remember where my D8 is.
But it's
Fuck it.
psychic damage on somebody who's not dealing psychic damage to you.
Maddie, Thursday, Knight's Ransom, where we at?
Well, they just dealt with the lizard folk shaman who was spouting stuff about Gaia will return, who, for those familiar with Greek mythology, is a titan, and the titans don't exist no more. So, polluting the land, Gaia will return, corrupting a farm. They have found themselves a corrupted symbol of Demeter. And, then they're gonna go deal with a bunch of goblins, because, what could possibly go wrong? And then they still have 2 more tasks before continuing on.
Beautiful. Friday, we got some R&R, some nice open stuff. Are we still accepting possible things for Fridays?
Oh god, yeah. We don't have a set date for JT's thing. He did it on Wednesday before, so we currently have 3 open days if we have DMs that would like to get involved with Direbear and run their games on our platform.
Oh, yeah! And next Saturday, we will be back with episode 22 of The Stolen Cities, where a 3-pronged fight ensues. Cross having to hold off Sangren long enough for Jason to get the place to safety. And Venelin and Ralakan having to hopefully evade the notice of Vedran. But worst case scenario, possibly having to fight him alongside the Artemisians. As always, we thank you so much for coming, sitting down, and watching with us tonight. And please remember, wear a mask, wash your hands, get vaccinated, be kind to one another, and roar for initiative. Have a good night.